Welcome back to Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Last time we raided a prison and bolstered our ranks with new members from said prison. And now, seems like there's going to be a bit of a time skip in the Liberation War. Like I said, part 1 is very condensed, as you'll see on the narration screen.
Lagu's warriors, led by Tormod, join the escaped prisoners, and Daein's army grows ever larger. Its victories at Talrega and other key locations have strengthened its position. The army rides across the land, liberating prisoners from Benyan encampments. The Daein ranks swell with the influx of veteran soldiers, and the men begin to dream of the day when they may retake the capital. Like a fever, conflict grips the nation. The night will be long before this fever breaks.
Nice metaphor.
All eyes turn toward Daein's capital as the liberation begins what all believe will be a long and bloody march.
And so we come to this chapter. As I said last time, this is my least favourite chapter in part 1. And here we are back in Villain Land. Hopefully though, Daein Keep won't be Villain Land for much longer. So they've heard rumours of that, I guess. And now he's turned into Hector. So, in Path of Radiance, they forgot to mention that Duke Gados is Lekhain. Let's just say he's going to be more important in this game. Obviously. It's pretty clear they've been abusing their power. So at this point, the occupation army is getting desperate. Luring in a rebel leader through rumors of an execution. Suddenly this is Disney's Robin Hood. Meanwhile, back at camp, I like to imagine that Soth is just constantly force-feeding Micaiah vulneraries during this entire sacrifice spree. Some of the generic soldier armor looks pretty cool in this game. That is, I believe, a generic Axe Paladin. But they get straight to the point here. Whether this woman is genuine or actually an agent from the occupation army, I'm not sure. It really could be either. So they're going to be executing pretty much everyone. Though the thing about letting the swamp conceal the remains, that actually makes me genuinely disturbed because something like that really happened in Cambodia. Yep, so it's either run into what is probably a trap, or a lot of people get killed. They're not going to vanquish the Liberation Army in one location. This is the benefit of having a small elite force, as opposed to the huge main army. We can just only send named characters. This is kind of one of the few times Izuka has a point, however, Peleus is going to give his approval. And Micaiah has some pretty powerful friends at this point, so I'm not too worried about her. Once again, Izuka says something true for once. And immediately we cut to the base. So, as is tradition, I'll be going over info first. First, kind of an interesting bit of character info with Soth here, and then some actual items out of the up two conversations. This relates to the conversation at the end of the last chapter. She's still on edge about what Maureen found out. And Soth seems to know this too. I don't know if Soth ever, like, mentioned knowing what the Branded were in any of his conversations in the last game. I don't really use him that much in Path of Radiance. I'll need to look up a lot of his supports. So yes, this is where Micaiah's bizarre powers come from. She is part Laguz, and if you've seen the kind of abilities that she uses, you might be able to figure out what her Laguz ancestry is. Yeah, it is hard knowing that you've got a lot of people who seem to care about you, but might turn on you if they knew just one thing. We've come too far, it seems. And she's going to explain her reasons for that here. And a bit of explanation as to what Micaiah was doing at the time. Seems like she was in Dayan, so I'm surprised Soth wasn't able to find her when we were there, but maybe she only returned after we left. That'd be typical luck. This is all she can do to return it, I guess. We just have to press on. We can worry about that stuff once we've liberated Dayan. Oh no, you're very good at doing that in gameplay if she gets into danger, so I don't doubt your ability to do that. That's a nice moment between the two of them. And once again, Toronyu is not playable for this chapter. And there's Soth's catchphrase again, but he did mention extra help. We'll see what that means when we get to the chapter. It will help you recover from poison, sleep, and paralysis. I wonder what we might be dealing with in the next chapter. Yeah, you should always be worried whenever the game gives you an item that cures a certain status, because that usually means, yeah. I think probably the most terrifying instance of that is at one point in The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky SC, where there's an entire dungeon that constantly gives you instant death protection accessories. Naturally, the boss of that dungeon begins the fight with an ultimate attack that is instant death on everyone unless they have instant death protection, so, yeah. I do plan on recording that game someday, so look forward to that once I get there. Also, this is an interesting conversation. This is another hint at the fact that Laguz can kind of sense Branded. Which is part of the reason why Soren grew up hating them so much. Not really an excuse for the way he still treats them, but anyway. Also, that line could be taken very out of context. So with this, we just get from this, it's an Ashera icon. And I hope you enjoyed that, because that's the only development Vika will be getting all game. Yeah, I feel like she is one of the most criminally wasted characters in this game. She just has a lot of potential, and then, yeah, she barely does anything, and even in gameplay, it barely has any availability. So, as I promised that I'd do, I'll do bargains now, and... oh look, they're selling Worm Slayers! I wonder what we'll be fighting in the next chapter! And more Wind Edges. This is probably the first time where I might turn down a Wind Edge, because I already have a lot of them. And we will be getting better, we'll be getting better 1-2 range swords soon, but I'm actually a little low on hand axes, so I might want to buy one of those for Nolan right now. And, what the heck, we can never have enough Wind Edges. Guess Z-Hawk will take this one. I might as well buy this, though. Not really sure who should be using it at this point, but... oh, great, a one-use Wind Edge. That's going to be a problem to find a use for. We can also buy Olivigrass, and yeah, I'm really running low on money. If I need more money, I can sell that red gem. Olivigrass is an item that restores 15 points to a Lagoose's transform gauge, and unlike the Lagoose Stone in Path of Radiance, you can use this while you're in animal form. So, if your gauge is running low, you can just keep chugging Olivigrass to basically perpetually be transformed, as long as the Olivigrass lasts. Now, there's a lot of Olivigrass as hidden treasure in maps, so if we don't buy this now, it's not the end of the world. We'll be getting a lot of this later on. I should also mention that the armories are selling some new things. They're selling Iron Blades. We know Iron Blades from earlier Fire Emblem games, especially Path of Radiance, but there's also a few new things. Iron Great Lance and Iron Poleaxe. Not only are axes broken in this game, they're also really cheap compared to other weapon types. But anyway, so, Great Lance and Poleaxes, not to be confused with the Poleaxe in Path of Radiance that was effective against cavalry, this one isn't, but think of these as like the lance and axe equivalent of blades, and longbows are the equivalent for bows, but they have an additional effect of being able to shoot at 3 range. So I actually really like this. It always felt weird in earlier games how swords had these blades, which is like a subtype that are more powerful but heavier and less accurate. Now, other weapon types have an equivalent, so Iron Great Lances are stronger than Steel Lances, have a bit less of a hit rate and a little bit more weight, but that one extra might is really nice. Same with the Iron Poleaxe, and most axe users will have enough strength to use these without penalty, so... and later in the game, their skill stats get high enough that the accuracy penalty isn't much of a big deal, so I really like Great Lances and Poleaxes. In fact, I think I'll buy an Iron Poleaxe for Nolan now. Because let's just say that very soon he'll have enough strength to avoid being weighed down by that. I don't think I need an Iron Great Lance because I have a forged lance for Aaron. Speaking of items, let's go ahead and trade the Restore Staff to you. I don't know who's going to be using the Ashera icon. I'll have to think about that. Any other items that I need to swap around? Yeah, we still have access to Tonori's inventory, even though he's not going to be playable for the rest of Part 1. I actually find that sometimes Tormod needs a vulnerary. And Soph just happened to steal one from the boss in the last chapter, so let's go ahead and switch that to you. I'll be coming back to the item screen soon, but for now, I'll do supports next, as it's not like we can do very much on the support screen. Aaron and Laura can raise their rank. Not really that much of a boost, but it's still nice. And yeah, Edward and Nolan are already an A. Not as good as a full double Earth support, but +2 defense is nice. Jill, unfortunately, can only support with Laura right now. And Z-Hawk and Volug still can't support. I really wish they could. Double Earth is amazing. Can Z-Hawk and Nolan support? No. That's a shame. Alright, so, management, skills. I am dumb. I should have removed this last chapter. And who I'm going to give it to now? I think I'll do that after some people promote, because I might be promoting some people here. As for other skills, we don't really have all that much, but... you know what? I'll do my skill shuffling after I do award experience, because I think now it's time to show you the power of bonus experience, even though It's not really the best time to use it. Edward's only capped 2 stats, HP and speed. I was really hoping that he'd also cap skill on that last level up, because that would make this a lot more effective, but we can start using it now at least. We've got a ton of bonus experience, we're getting even more from both this chapter and the next chapter. 1.9 has a clear bonus of 2,000 bonus experience, it's insane. Actually, no skill there is kind of bad. At least that's decent. And you're almost guaranteed strength on this one. And yeah, see how his defense is now raising. So I didn't really get to show off the true power of bonus experience all that much, but at least Edward gained a little more defense than he would normally have. Next is going to be Aaron. Because he's capped skill, again, this is not going to be the best use of bonus experience, because I would have hoped that he'd capped strength and defense by now. But he's going to cap them soon, hopefully, and then I can raise his speed a little bit. Yeah, see, as you can see, he's now capped skill and defense, making it more likely that he'll gain speed from these. And now that he's capped strength, skill, and defense, it's even more likely he'll gain speed. So I hope this demonstrates to you how effective bonus experience can be. So yeah, Aaron now has a lot more speed than he would normally have. So he's level 20, Edward's a level 20. Bonus experiencing Nolan now is not really that efficient because he doesn't have any cap stats, but I really want him to get promoted this chapter. And that wasn't bad. That wasn't too bad either. So for now, that'll be enough on the bonus experience front for these 3. And I'm going to keep Paragon on Micaiah at this point. I know it's not really that effective, but I still want her to hit level 20 before part 1 is over. Although 1.9, I'll just say, is pretty much designed to be a Micaiah experience fest, so she might not even need it for this chapter. Anyway, though, now we've got some people at level 20, and we do have a bunch of Master Seals, which, like I've said, are not going to be much use outside of part 1, because there won't be many Tier 1 characters. Let's just quickly convoy that one use Wind Edge, and I'll give all 3 of you a Master Seal for now. Aaron already has one, and I can save the last one for Jill. Now, as for why I didn't bonus experience Jill's level 20 there, for some odd reason, Jill isn't even usable in this chapter, so having her promoted now is not going to make a difference. But it's time for our first promotion. I don't think this game's promotion theme is anywhere near as good as Path of Radiance's, but it's alright. And this is why I really like using Edward. 20 strength on a level 1 Swordmaster. That's more than many Swordmasters have at level 20. And now it's time for and now it's Nolaning time. I should mention that you can skip the promotion animation in this game, unlike Path of Radiance. But now it is time for Nolaning 2. Even more Nolaning. Those stats aren't the best for a level 1 warrior Nolan, but that speed is nice. And now, Aaron. From generic soldier to generic halberdier, but I actually like how his halberdier model looks, and I like that shield too. "17 speed on him at this point is not bad either. And 21 defense puts him equal to base Taroniu. So yeah, here's Halberdier Aaron now. On promotion, characters gain a lot more capacity. So, I should also mention that Lagu's capacity depends on their level. But anyway, now that we have extra capacity on all of these characters, I can now start my skill shuffling, not bonus experience though. I'm going to remove Renewal from Soth for now, and I'm going to put that on Aaron, just because he's one of my main tanks now. As for Discipline, I'm going to give this to Edward for the moment, because male Swordmasters, like I've said, can reach an SS rank in Sword, so I might as well just raise his Sword rank as fast as possible. I want him to be at S before 313. There's a reason for that. As for Nolan, there isn't much I can give you. Beast Foe will be fun on Nolan later, but not now. And as for other people, might as well swap Resolve over to somebody. Nolan doesn't really need it, but he is the only one of my promoted characters at this point with capacity for it. And I guess I'll keep, I just realized the horror that is Z-Hark having one of Megzol's skills. There's nothing else I can assign apart from Beast Foe. Any skills that I want to swap around? Okay, so let me mention something quickly. So Tormod. Tormod's Celerity. You can remove Celerity from Tormod, and you really want to do this before the end of Part 1. I like to keep Celerity on Tormod for 1/8 though. It does help. But just make sure to remove it before the end of Part 1, otherwise you'll really regret it. As for Vika, it's not necessary to remove her Shriek, because only birds can use it, and it's not really the best skill anyway. Yeah, I think I'm fine on skills for now. So now I can swap back some of my items, so you can go ahead and take that back, and Nolan can go ahead and take the Poleaxe back, and Aaron, I think, is still fine on weapons. Let me just check what I've got in the convoy. I might save that arm scroll for an emergency. I only have one use left in that bronze knife, thankfully I did buy another one. Oh, by the way, the armory is selling some much better knives now. It's selling steel daggers now, and iron knives, which have a whopping 2 mites. Anyway though, let's move out to the swamp. I'm not looking forward to this chapter. Also, these bandits have some kind of super smite skill, because seriously, look at that. How can I get that skill? I love something about this scene. Even in cutscenes, Micaiah doesn't one-round kill enemies and needs Soth to finish them off. Gameplay and story integration, I guess. And yeah, your savior has come. Hopefully I can actually live up to that title. This chapter is annoying. And so it was a trap. We've got a bunch of enemies here. It's also going to be a route map, so we have to kill them all. However, Soth had something planned. Here's Tormod and company. Now here's a weird case of gameplay and story segregation. Tormod doesn't double this guy, and Vika has to finish him off. Unfortunately, they didn't get experience for that. But we have even more backup. Some really, really, really powerful backup. And finally, we have a Heron. Raphael's a little special as far as Herons go, though, and I mean that in a very good way. You might have noticed that both Volug and Nyla got extra actions there. And Raphael wasn't even transformed. And yeah, explaining this, so if you didn't play Path of Radiance, Herons are your equivalent of dancers in this game. They chant for allies and they get an extra turn. There are also other chants in this game. I'll be going over that in Raphael's bio. So, next time get ready for a really, really, really annoying chapter. What? Maureen is not Ike's sister? What devilry is this? PAL version, baby! So, in the American version, or at least early copies, there's a very infamous glitch in the glossary, where viewing Maureen's description instead shows Mist's description. And it's not just a case of someone messing up the pointers. Mist's description literally appears twice in the script, so someone must have accidentally copy-pasted her description over Maureen's. But in the PAL version, and in later copies of the American version, Maureen got his actual description, which you can see here.